All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Basic Training Community Call. Super excited to have you on board with us tonight. Tonight is actually a very special call. We have some leaders in the organization who've been with us for, 6, 9 months to a year, over a year, 2 years, 3 years, that have put together a list of top 10 mistakes that people make when they first get started with this business. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Denise Walsh, and I've been on this journey for 8 years, and my goodness, it has absolutely changed our lives. But I can tell you, I probably made some of these mistakes throughout my course of this business too. So we all go through and learn in the process. I like to say leaders are not born leaders, they're made into leaders. And so as you grow in this business and as you continue to try and do new things, you will grow in the process. So before we get started on our top 10 list, I want to go through 2 announcements. As you know, Energy was launched here in the state. It is $60 for 24 cans, 40 BV. So this turns out to be about $3.50 per can. You can sell them $4 or $5 as individual cans. The goal is to introduce it to people and have them sign up as a customer. So the goal is that you is still to sign up people as customers and loyal. So I think you have to remember that even if you want to sell at retail, the idea is that it's just a 1 or 2 time option, and then you can. They want to become a loyal customer, because that's just the way this business works. And then the other thing is, so let me think, any other thoughts on Energy? Make sure you try it. It's delicious. It really, really is good. It's slightly carbonated. It's more of a juicy, like a juice type flavor, pear, cranberry, and it has no aftertaste. So I am not an energy drink guru by any means, but I will drink this. It's really good, and I really like it. So definitely try it. We sampled it at one of our parties this past weekend, and it went over very well. I know they were selling it at Expos, actually, for $4 a can, and got everybody's name that bought one so they can follow up to close them as a loyal as well. So if you have anybody that is an energy drinker, definitely have them try this, and they will be amazed by how good it is and all the health benefits as well. So if you go to the It Works YouTube channel, you'll see videos on the energy drink specifically where Dr. Don talks about why this is better than other energy drinks. So make sure you head on over there and do some homework and build your confidence about our newest product. As you know, because of this newest product, the shipping has slowed way down. Not only are we enrolling massive numbers of loyal customers and distributors right now because of the timing of our company, but we just launched the energy drink, which is so exciting. So I did talk to customer service today about shipping and just asked what's going on, if there's anything we should know about. And they said that number one, there's no products on back order, so that's good information to know. No products are on back order. The only thing is it's just crazy busy. So I am hearing that it's taking 5 to 7 days for things to ship. This is not necessarily normal, but that's the reality right now as we're going through our crazy season. So one thing I would recommend is when you're signing up new distributors, let them know that it could be 1 to 2 weeks before they get their wraps. They don't need their wraps to get started by any means. Most of the information is in the e-suite. They can start talking to people. They can borrow our testimonies and our before and afters until they get their wraps. I think the frustration comes in when people plan their events and then don't have products for the events that they've planned. So if you are a new distributor and you have not yet gotten your kit, know that it is coming. The syncing is not, the system is not syncing correctly. So sometimes it will stay printed when it actually has been shipped. And I know people have gotten products when it still said printed. So just know that is something. just know that that's happening. So if it's been a while, definitely be patient. If you have spent extra money on faster shipping, for example, if you bought something and did 2-day shipping and it didn't ship for 5 days, then let me know or do a support ticket, and they will reimburse your extra shipping costs. I think when Energy was released, they put all of that as priority and kind of put the rest in the back burner for a minute. But that won't last forever. It's just a crazy boom time, which, of course, you'd rather have products flying off the shelf than not have them fly off the shelf, right, and be begging people to order. So high-class problems. But just make sure that you are aware of what's going on and that your team is too. I think when people know that they can get anything fixed and that there's a way to get in touch with corporate if they need to through my personal customer service person or through a support ticket or by calling. As long as we know what's going on and anything needs to be fixed, it's all good, right? So those are the 2 updates I had. If you haven't tried Energy, get it. I got 6 cases today, and I'm so excited to stock my fridge and use it to market. With that being said, we are going to get on our top 10 list of mistakes new distributors make, and the first 2 are going to be mentioned by Miss Bailey Walsh.
Hey guys. So, like Denise said, we took some time to put together what we feel like are the most common pitfalls. So, the first one that I am going to talk about is letting fear stop you from getting started. I think even when you take the leap of faith and you join the business, there are a lot of us who still kind of stall a little bit, right? We don't go through the training right away. We don't log into the eSuite, or you do go through that and you read like crazy on the products and you're stuck in front of your computer screen and you're not taking action. So whichever one it is, whether you're just stalling totally or you're distracting yourself with non-income producing activities, don't do it. Don't fall into that trap, because I think one of the best things you can do for your business is take action right away, because when you do, it builds your confidence, it gets you excited, it reassures that you made the right decision, right? I just welcomed a new teammate, Lacey. I don't know if she's on the call tonight, but she signed all 4 loyal customers within 24 hours. And before she signed, she said, "I'm so nervous." And then she started talking to people right away. She didn't even go through the training. She just started talking to people. And I'm not saying don't go through the training, but don't feel like you need to get through every single piece before you get started, because that's what she did. And then she texted me, "Hey, they just asked me this. How do I answer?" And I answered her questions, and she was able to still sign people. So she signed all 4 within 24 hours, totally jump-started her business, and now she's super excited. That nervousness went away because it was replaced by confidence. So that's definitely number 1 is don't be afraid to get started. Just jump in and know that there are tons of resources, training, wisdom within this team who can help you learn along the way. So that's my number 1 tip, Denise.
I want to add to that because I agree. I think that sometimes we use stalling as is kind of a barrier to getting outside our comfort zone. We just make ourselves busy or distract ourselves with other things. Or we sit in front of the computer and we call that work. So we call that analysis paralysis. When you are sitting down and you're doing all your training and you think you need to know everything before you go out and start doing it. You don't need to have all of the answers, and I totally agree. Action is the best way to get started. So good job, Bailey. All right, what's number 2?
All right, number 2 is feeling like you need to be a salesperson to be good at this business. And I know that I felt that way. I started this business for a short time in college and quit before I really even gave it a chance. I just said, I'm not going to be good at this. I hate follow-up and I'm scared to talk to people, and so I'm just not good at sales. I'm just not going to be good at this. I'm just going to quit before I spend too much money. Well, years later, I joined again and realized that sales has nothing to do with it. It really doesn't. I mean, yes, you're selling a product, but more than anything, you're selling yourself, and the way that you do that is through building relationships. I think that this is such a huge distinction to make because you are not, everyone is selling these It Works products. There's 100,000 other distributors selling this exact same products as you. So what is going to make someone buy from you versus the distributor across the street? It's you. They're buying it from you because they like you, because they have a relationship with you, because they see you as a friend, because they feel like they can trust you and tell you what those health issues that they have are. They feel like they can tell you that they're really struggling with money and they feel like they can count on you to help them out of that situation. Or, so I think that when we look at a business like this, it's so easy to think, well, sales, not good at that, never done that. I guess I can't be successful with this. And really what you need to look at is ask yourself are you a good friend? Are you good with people? Do you like to build new relationships and make new connections? And if the answer is yes to those questions, then yes, you can totally be good at this business and you need to just start talking to people and sharing your passion.
Awesome. I totally agree. I think we stick with what we're comfortable with. I remember I told Brandon when I first started, I said, should I go back to school for business? Because I don't know anything about business. And he was like, no. Just get out there, start talking to people. You'll learn everything you need to know along the way, and you'll find your niche within the company. All right, next, Tracy Buskirk has two of her top two mistakes that people make when they first get started. Tracy.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me, Denise?
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm on a different phone, so I just wanted to make sure that you were hearing me. Okay, so when I sat down to think about this, I picked something that became a struggle for myself along the journey, and that was not making time or making the decision to make the time. One thing that I encourage my distributors to do on my team that I did as well is from the very beginning, make sure you know what your goals are and make sure that your upline knows what your goals are, because I think when you are both starting your journey together, if you're both on the same page, then things tend to go smoothly. So whether your goal is to work your business 2 or 3 hours a week, or whether your goal is to dive in headfirst and replace a career that you have, you need to make sure that your goals and the time you're putting in match. So a lot of times I will ask my distributors, so what's your goal in money? And they'll throw a figure out. And then I will say, so how many hours are you willing to dedicate to your business? And if those two things don't match, then we tend to just spend a few minutes discussing that. Because if somebody tells me they want to make $1,000 a month but they only want to work 2 hours a week, well, then we need to have a little chat. So once you've identified what your goals are and how much time you can put in, then the next step is to make sure that you stick to it. If you say you are going to put in 5 hours a week, 2 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 5 hours a day, establish that goal and hold yourself to it, because there's one difference that separates the people who quit this business and the people who are making the big money, and that is simply one thing: what they decided to do on the days they didn't want to work their business. Life happens. We're tired. We're stressed. We aren't excited to work our business all the time. We don't want to pick up the phone call and to make the phone calls to just be put on hold or to leave a message or to get hung up on or whatever it may be. We have kids, we have pets, we have parents who require our attention. But the bottom line is there's always going to be something that needs your attention, but so does your business. And when you sit down to tackle a day, to tackle a week, set some goals, your business needs to be one of those goals. And then you need to make it a non-negotiable. And I can promise you that no matter what your goal is, if it's 1 hour, if it's 20 hours, as long as you're making those consistent steps toward the same direction, you're going to get there. And yeah, some people move faster than others, but their goals are different. But I assure you, if you keep your goal in sight and you keep that constant, continual effort working toward that goal, you're going to get there. And that kind of goes to the next point, is not to let your why be your excuse. So one of the first things, if any of you have had a talk with Denise, she always is very big and tell me your why. And then she says, now I want you to tell them your why, and now tell your why, and now I want you to tell each other your whys. The reason why we do this is because it's key to keeping you motivated to work your business. When you know what your why is, you are better able to tackle those short-term sacrifices. Because the reality is I went into this business knowing that I would have more time for my children, but today I worked my business more than I gave time to my kids. That's okay. It's okay for me because it's a short-term sacrifice. I know that the sacrifices I'm making today will give me the freedom that I want in 2 years, in 1 year, and that freedom will be a constant. So I think whether your why is your kids, whether your why is financial freedom, just a better balance of life, don't let that be your excuse, because I very well could have just said today, I'm done. I'm calling Denise, telling her I'm overloaded. I can't do this corporate call because I haven't seen my kids. And instead, I have one child on my lap and 2 sleeping behind me, none of which are in their own beds. But it's okay, right? Short-term sacrifice, long-term goal. So I think it's really important to just make sure that your stresses of today aren't determining the decisions you make for your future. Because what's a stress today is not going to be a stress tomorrow or in 3 months, but the decisions you make based on that stress are going to impact your life forever. So if you're here in our business, you're here for a reason, remember what that reason is and stay connected to that. And the ways that you can stay connected to that are creating a dream board. Very easy. Something you stare at every day. It's going to keep you connected. So those would be my 2 top pieces of advice.
Awesome. I took notes. I wrote down, my favorite line was, your success in this business is determined by what you do on the days you don't feel like working. Wow. That's so, so true. No matter what type of, how many people who run marathons feel like going to train, but they do it because their end goal is worth it. So thank you so much, Tracy, for those tips. I think we all need to hear that. And often making your why your excuse or not setting aside the time are barriers that can get in our way. So, all right, next up we have Mr. Carlos. Carlos Dominguez has a few of his top mistakes that new distributors make. Let's hear it.
Sure, thanks. Hi, everyone. My first one, I just want to kind of talk about when I first started, I felt like I had to know everything, and I had to know all the details on the products. I had to know exactly how the compensation plan worked, and I also had this overwhelming sense that I had to do it my way. I didn't want to trust the what was laid out for me. I didn't want to trust my leaders. And after a few weeks, maybe actually a month and a half or so, I said, why isn't this working? Because I'm sharing, I'm doing this, and it really hit me. I said, that means give it a try. They've got all the tools in place, so don't try to recreate the wheel. That is my thing that I learned really quickly. They have the steps to success, and they're meant to be used. And you hear all the top leaders saying, what do they do every month? They print it out, they fill it out, and they follow it. And once I started doing that and making a very consistent habit of it, that's when my business started growing. And it really helped me bring it to a very simple level. I'm the type of person that when I think big picture, I get overwhelmed or I get anxious. So it allowed for me to really bring it to those simple steps and remember, I have these goals that are already set. There's a tool and a system that works. And if I follow that, everything else is going to fall in place. You're going to hit executive. You're going to hit Ruby. You're going to grow your team. You're going to develop leadership. So really just using the tools, the systems, using the videos, all of the things that are there, don't feel like you have to recreate the wheel because you're just going to be wasting so much of your time And we know that time right now is of the essence. We're in our momentum. We are needing to create a sense of urgency. So really, I shared this a couple weeks ago. I think if you just get off the bat running and just know that you don't have to do anything extraordinary, you just have to be extraordinary doing ordinary things and going about your life and not having to making it more complex than have to, but making your business a part of your everyday life, that is going to grow your business tenfold. And then my second one is going to be, it kind of tied right into it actually, and I think facing your fears. I think the most of us we get so fearful because we want to do everything perfect. We don't want to fail. We want to make sure that we have the perfect plan. And I think just like most of us in life, we all have this great plan for our lives, and when it doesn't work out, what are you going to do? Are you going to fall down, or are you going to get back up and make a new plan and move forward? And I think the more you do that, you build the endurance. I think over the last 2 years, the biggest thing that I've taken away is that it's okay to change that plan. It's okay that you might not have found all of those right running team members. You may have not gotten all the LCs for that month, or, you might not have run the perfect ad or anything, but the point is that you're doing it and you're doing it over and over again, and you're being very consistent. So what I love to tell my team is to live outside of your comfort zone. I think when we stay outside of our comfort zone and really be very consistent, you develop habits that are really great blessings for your business. They're great examples for your team, and you get to be very transparent. People know that you're real, and they trust you because you aren't trying to be perfect. You're just building your business by being, I think Bailey already mentioned it, but by being you and developing those things and facing your fears. We were at a conference, I think it was Freedom, Denise, I can't remember, but there was a whole thing about kind of facing your fear, running into the storm, and the faster you get through that storm, you're going to be on the other side to celebrate. So those are my two big mistakes, trying to recreate the wheel because I wanted to be in control and wanting everything to be so perfect when really, if you've gone to a party, I think the best ones that happen are the ones where it's very authentic. I was just at a launch party this past weekend, and they tried to cancel because not everybody that said they were coming was coming. I said, no, we're doing this party, and we are going to have fun, and we are going to make it look like we are just have so many things going on. And then we get there, and there were 6 kids there that were, loud, and they can be distracted, and they kept apologizing. I said, don't worry about it. Focus on the people who are here. And again, it wasn't the perfect or ideal situation, but we ended up getting two loyal customers and a ton of referrals, and one that's interested in DT. So I think just doing it and doing your best and having fun and having that excitement really does make this business move forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carlos. And I know you have another one that you were talking to us about really branding yourself. And it kind of meshes with what Bailey said, where we are not just selling a product, we really are selling ourselves. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I kind of thought Bailey was touching on it. But something that, if you've been watching John Eric, and he's our big social media person, it really hit me this past conference because we get so caught up on marketing product, sharing product, and if you've been to any of those pages where it's product, I know I get bored, and I know the product, and I'm excited about the product, and I know the product works, but it's the people who you are really being able to engage with. They're taking you on an adventure. And that really is what brings people to you. I signed up 2 loyal customers in the last 24 hours, and I know it's not because I shared product, because I don't share that much on my page, but they know that I'm going and traveling. I'm working the businesses, taking me to different places. We were in Mexico, and I came back, and so many people that might not like your post or comment on your post, they all ask, oh, your trip looked amazing. Oh, I saw you got a new car. Oh, how are you doing this? And those all become my leads. So I love to tell my team, let corporate market the product, and you need a brand and focus on marketing yourself. And I think Bailey kind of touched on that too.
Yeah, I like it. And it just goes to show, it's like Facebook is our billboard. It's our personal billboard. What do we want people to see about us? And if you take a look at your social media, whether it's your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, whatever is your mode of social media, ask yourself, if my social media were written in a book, would somebody want to read my story? Are you posting, oh, woe is me, my mama, baby, daddy, blah, blah, blah drama? Are you posting, uplifting, positive, inspiring things that people want to be around? People join this business because they want to be within the community. And so are you expressing that on your Facebook page? Would you want to read your own story? And if not, then really think about how you're presenting yourself to the outside world, not only to Facebook, but at your parties, professionally, well-kept, positive, fun, smiling, engaging, all that stuff. Are you somebody that you would want to recruit? And if so, give yourself a pat on the back and keep moving forward. But if not, you know what? Take some time to reflect and think about some of those areas that you could improve on. So thank you, Mr. Carlos. Appreciate it. All right. Next up, we have Sandra. Sandra Suriak has her top 2 mistakes that people make. Sandra, go ahead.
Hello. Yes. One of the big mistakes that I have encountered and experienced is puking on people, or diarrhea of the mouth, whatever you want to call it. So what that means is that you have a prospect or anybody asking about the business or the product or anything related to It Works. I have personally witnessed other distributors saying, if a customer, anybody asks a single question, them just giving this very long answer. If someone asks, what is a wrap? Instead of just saying, oh, it's this awesome thing that helps tighten, tone, and firm, they talk for like 1 to 2 minutes straight. So if you can imagine, for somebody who has no idea what the wrap is, having another person talk for 2 minutes straight and talk about all the science behind it, or how, all these details, the person that you're trying to, get as a lead is going to stop paying attention and totally shut you off. So one big thing to remember and try to avoid is just saying everything. Now, whether, even if you're an expert or not, it's just kind of keeping it very simple, making sure that that other person is engaged, and being able to, keep them interested and really listen to, what they want or their needs. And I mean, honestly, the very first time I ever try to answer some of these questions, it can definitely be tricky, and you might, stumble or say a little bit too much, but, just, it's okay, and just learn from those experiences. And, I have times where I'm, driving or whatever, and I am, when I first started, I'd be practicing, how to answer certain questions, or listening to calls or other people, how they answer it, and just perfecting it a little bit. And really less is more. So, if you ever have to need help answering a question, definitely, reach out on the page, and we can help how to keep those answers to questions very concise. So that's one. And then another one I wanted to touch on was the comparison trap. So this is, I think most of us have done this, where you are working your business and then you all of a sudden see somebody else's post or comment or whatever about, something that they did. Oh, they just signed 5 distributors, or oh, they just signed 10 customers, or, they just, whatever it might be. And then you all of a sudden get down, or you look at yourself as if, what you were doing was not good enough. I know I've personally done this myself and have got emotional about it and upset, and I know several other people as well who I've talked to. So the important part, I think, is one, to just, keep your blinders on and set your own goals and then work towards those. So it doesn't matter if somebody else is signing more customers or distributors. It matters what your personal goal you set for yourself. And the other thing is, to realize that a lot of people do this. And, a lot of people, a lot of other distributors, might get down on themselves or compare themselves to other successful people who have been doing it longer, or whatever the case might be. But the important part is to remember that we have a team to help with that. So if, you know, you do find yourself doing that, then just make sure to go ahead and reach out to your upline or sidelines and, you know, just kind of even just to express your feelings or whatever it might be. But I think it's really important just to constantly remind ourselves, definitely cheer each other on, but also have, you know, your own goals and really just stick to what you've done and be proud of what you have accomplished. I have, you know, several different distributors have told me before, I'm just kind of bummed. I'm only Ruby. You know how many people would kill to be Ruby? Like, that's crazy. So it's really, you know, it's kind of nuts. So just really be grateful for, you know, what you have accomplished, and, you know, that will only attract other, you know, great successes in your business.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sandra. Yeah, I think the comparison trap is something that everybody gets into. You know, it's so easy to do. It's our human nature to kind of look left and look right, and that's why that's what happens when you're not moving forward. If you want to move forward, you put those blinders on. You're not listening to what other people are doing or saying because you're so focused on what you're doing. I love watching the Olympics because I love watching successful people, and one of the swimmers came out of the lane one time, and the person said, "So, what did you think about whatever this swimmer was, you know, how fast they were or whatever?" And he said, "You know what? I wasn't even paying attention to them. All I know is I was doing my thing, and my thing today got me first place." And so that's the name of this. You know, the goal is not to look left or look right or be distracted by other things, to stay laser focused, especially during this crazy promotion time, because nobody else pays your bills. So why are we watching what they're doing? And you know what? You never know what is going on in their life. You know, you never know how many no's they got before they got those 5 distributors, right? So, and then on puking on people, that's hilarious, and I know a lot of us do that. Well, Pam has a segment that she calls puke, or not puke. That would be Pam would not tell us to do that. She tells us to say drip, duct tape, drip, duct tape. Just answer the question that they asked. And I had a team do an expo this weekend with a newer distributor, and they said she was awesome. She answered the questions. She knew her products in and out, but she was answering questions that were not asked, and you could tell people were shutting off. Answer their question. And then if they're still standing there, you're like, well, you ready? Let's get one on you. And I think we have to keep it as simple as that. All right. Thank you, Bailey, Tracy, Carlos, and Sandra, for your tips on things that you have noticed when yourself and in your teammates. Top 10 mistakes that people make. There's 2 left, and they are from me. I have 2 of my own. The first mistake that I see distributors make is not plugging in. Not plugging in. I know that you can and will experience success if you plug into the community and you allow people to get to know you, you ask questions, you engage, you share your before and after pictures. There's a community on this page. On whatever team page you happen to be on, there's people and friendships being formed. Are you a part of it? Not plugging into the corporate calls, not getting to know Pam, Mike, the integrity of the company, not plugging into events in your local area, whether they are a local one team, one mission, or whether it is a team work day, or maybe it works you 5 hours away. If it's drivable, you get there, because we know that companies only grow one time, and we want to be a part of it. Every single time I go to an event, I come home on fire and refocused, and just one more nugget of information that's going to propel me to the next level. So my top mistake that new distributors make is not plugging in. The second mistake that I see distributors make is focusing on people who do not want it, or maybe falling into management mode. And I'll tell you what both of those mean. The first one is focusing on people that do not want it. If you continue to ask someone, do you want to wrap? Do you want to wrap? Or are you going to work your business? Are you going to work your business? And they're not responding. Now, I'm not talking about follow-up here. I'm talking about people that are already in the business. but maybe they just aren't ready to work. They're not plugging in. They're not engaging. They haven't gone through their training. They haven't started taking action. Who knows if they even open their kit? But yet, we think it's our job to make sure that they're successful. And I'm here to release you from that. It is our job to support, to train, to coach, to mentor, to guide, to be a support system within this business, but nobody can be responsible for the success of someone else's business. It just doesn't even make sense. But as enrollers, sometimes we put that pressure on ourselves. If you are focusing on people who do not want it, you are going to feel tired, bored, burnt out, stressed. You want to pull your hair out or knock your head into a wall because you're like, they're not getting it, and it's my job to make them get it. Well, it's not your job. We can lead by example, and they will either follow or they will not. The other thing that we can do is fall into management mode. I know some people who sign up 5 distributors and then stare at them and say, all right, go. And all they're doing is talking to their current team, which, again, we want you to train and talk to your current team, but we don't want you to only do that because that's called management mode. That means you're manage them. We want you to continue to build your own business by bringing in your own prospects, your own leads, and your own stuff into the system. So focusing on the wrong people can distract you. It can make you feel bad and negative and poor about yourself because they're not picking up what we're laying down. When you find somebody who wants it, who is equally as hungry, it does not feel like you're pushing a boulder uphill. It feels like you found a business partner that can run with, and you're checking in back and forth, you're talking daily, you're saying, all right, what's my next goal, or all right, what should I do next, or hey, this is what I'm going, this is what I've got on my docket, and you're going back and forth, and it's so much fun. I know yesterday on that corporate call, if you listened in, they said that this business is so much more fun when you do it with friends. And I can tell you we've signed up our best friends in this business, and it's so much fun to do it with them. But we've also made best friends in this business because you're working with like-minded, positive, focused people. So before we unmute the call and take any questions, I want to ask our panelists, did you have anything that you wanted to add before we unmute the call? All right. Well, it is recorded, and the recording will go live at 10 o'clock. I made it the Q&A format on the system here. So if you have a question or a comment, or maybe something you did at the beginning of your business that you want to share as a mistake not to do, press *7 and unmute yourself. All right. *7 to unmute. Does anybody have anything to add?
Hey, Denise, it's Bailey. I thought of one more thing I wanted to add, and it's just that, like in the same vein of looking at what other people are doing, it's easy to think like, wow, look at that thing that they did in their expo. They got so many leads. How did they do that? But, there's tons of ways to market this product and this business, like tons and tons of ways. So you have to find which one you like the best. It might be parties, it might be blitzing, it might be Facebook, it might be Instagram, it might be expos, whatever it is. I think that you should pick one and focus most of your time on that method because that's what's going to be the most fun for you. That's where your natural skills come out. Whenever time passes quickly and you're having fun and you're excited and you're generating leads using that method, stick to that method. Don't feel like you need to do what everyone else is doing. If you find something that works for you, just keep doing that a lot and over and consistently.
Agreed. Anyone else? *7 to unmute. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We are going to post this list on the page, and definitely let us know if you have any to add. But we are here to experience success, and I declare success over everybody on this call and listening to the recording. Decide what your goal is, and then let's run together. Our business doubles every single January through June. This is go time. I expect everybody's promotions to happen within the next few months. Do not let this season of business go by without you promoting. So have a great, great night, everyone, and we'll be back here, same time, same place. Don't forget about the virtual Facebook party on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Bye.
Thanks.